1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Say what again?
Lovely suit.
In Pixar's new movie, Toy Story 4, Woody and the entire gang, or most of them, are back. This picks up straight after Toy Story 3, where Andy has moved off to college and he's given all the toys to a new girl, Bonnie. Now, most of the toys are adjusting pretty well with life with Bonnie, except for Woody, who's been sidelined a little bit. Anyway, the family goes on a road trip, and on that road trip, the toys reconnect with an old friend, they make a new foe, and there's lots of really funny and interesting and emotional things that happen in this film. In fact, it's really quite brilliant. Heading into the movie, with the success of Toy Stories 1, 2, and 3, and particularly the ending, the perfect bittersweet ending of Toy Story 3, I was really quite worried about whether this film was necessary at all. What were your thoughts, Timmsy?
Yeah, I think going into this film, I definitely had that same feeling. And I'm not sure if it was that which you mentioned, whether it was a necessary film in the first place, or whether it was the trailers just didn't really excite me when I saw the trailers. I'm like, oh man, you know, this feels like such a cash grab initially. So I was worried going into it, and particularly it also being the fourth in a franchise as well. It's kind of like, oh man, like how many fourth films in a franchise can we say are brilliant? When the film opened, right, and then there's a beautiful montage, the song kicks in, right? I was basically...
The song.
The song.
Yeah,
which
you got a friend in me, Randy Newman.
Yep. Oh, I wasn't going to spoil it, but that's cool. Yep. There's not much of a spoiler.
It's not much of a spoiler.
It's not much of a spoiler.
Every
It's
other
fine.
movie.
Absolutely. So you know what you're in for. Look, 30 seconds into this film, in this instance, I would love to be proven wrong.
Yeah.
This is a very necessary film, in my opinion.
It felt like home immediately, and
Yeah.
it was that warmth of Randy Newman's weird voice. Like, for such a great songwriter, I just wish he had a better voice. But it kind of works.
It works for his song.
Yeah,
it
works.
Got a friend in me. Yeah, it's catchy. I rewatched the 3 films going into 4,
Yeah, me
right?
too.
And I still, right, it's still a tearjerker for me at the end of the 3rd film, as it is, I think, for many people.
Let's talk about the 4th movie.
Yeah.
What immediately grabs you about this film in terms of like the plot, the writing, like where does it land for you? Like, did it ring?
Oh, look, as I said, I'll make it clear, I love this film. I absolutely love this film. It is a necessary film. And I think, you know, Josh Cooley, director, coming in, he's going, yeah, look, we've got something different for these characters. We've got something going on here. Yeah. And it feels right. I think the 3rd film was a great ending for Andy. This film is a great ending for Woody. It's a very good, to me, it's a very good coda. Yeah. You know, that says, hey, we're not done with these characters yet. We've got some other things to do with these great characters that you love. Here they are. And in a way, I love what was going on within this film. And it's funny, like the writing is sharp, it is witty, and it's got that humor that really calls back to, I think, to the earlier films, but it's also got a little bit more of the emotional sort of gravitas, you know, it's got something to say as well. That was kind of more reminiscent of the 3rd film as well.
Would you say, like, because I found myself, I don't laugh out loud a lot in the movies. I found myself laughing out loud quite a bit at this film.
Yep.
And as far as compared to the other 3 films, yes, there's a lot of similar beats, but like I thought it was actually a bit funnier, and I'll tell you why. The 4 new characters that came in, there's probably more than 4 if I'm really being honest, but the ones that I immediately think of are Tony Hale's voice work as Forky.
Yeah, fantastic.
Just so funny. The way that he has this like identity crisis and is just forever considering himself as trash. It almost feels like a meta kind of emo statement on how people see themselves. But
absolutely,
it was so funny. Key and Peele as Bunny and Ducky, they were
great,
so funny, and some of the funniest moments of the film, without spoiling, are theirs.
Are there? Yeah, absolutely. They give him plenty of time too. And
Keanu Reeves.
Keanu Reeves was great, and I mean, he shows here that he's more than just beating people up. He can actually make us laugh, you know, and a very expressive delivery, and which is definitely not his usual voice for how he normally is with characters.
Whoa. Like, dude. One that I was impressed with was Bo Peep. I really enjoyed the way that she shifted from the first movie of being, very demure, very proper, very ladylike, maybe a little bit on the promiscuous side with some of the other toys. She's a full-blown warrior.
Yeah.
By the time we get to Toy Story 4, and I really enjoyed her input and
I bought it too. I mean, I look at that character and I'm like, yeah, like Cooley obviously really cares about these characters again. So we've got some shifts, some changes with the characters, but they still work. They feel organic, and I think that's the difference with this film. Is it's coming from a pure place of inspiration. It ain't a cash grab. Yes, they're going to make a bucket load of money on it, right? But it's a place of inspiration.
As an adult watching these films and going back and watching other films as an adult, Toy Story 1, 2, 3,
yep,
they absolutely nailed the emotional moments.
Yes, hands down. Yeah.
I remember feeling this impossible dread at the idea of Bonnie going to her first day of kindy, right? And it sort of occurred to me that they do spend a lot of time on these moments. They isolate them in the film.
Yeah.
Like that feeling that you get in that moment, you don't really feel for the rest of the movie. But what that does is it just gives you that, it's like, yes, this is what it feels like to be alone, or this is what it feels like to walk into something new,
Absolutely.
to step out of your comfort zone.
Yep.
And we've all been to our first day of school, and it sucked for all of us. If you asked every parent out there that's had a kid that's gone to kindy, how many of them do you reckon would have said, oh, like the way that they were crying that morning and stuff, I really, really just wanted to be there at kindy their whole day.
Sure. Yeah.
If I could pack myself in their backpack and be there for them and just make sure from a distance they were okay.
Yeah.
How many parents do you reckon would say, yeah, 100% would do that?
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
And that's what Woody kind of does.
Right.
Woody sees himself as someone that is just in total servitude to this child.
Right.
Like a parent often does.
Yeah.
And the idea of, okay, Bonnie now needs to take this step without me, that's too much for Woody. And I found that really interesting that this movie became, or at least through my eyes, this movie about the idea of people growing up not needing us anymore. And if we pin our identities to that person, then what are we left with?
Yeah. There is a wonderful message in this film, right? Which is basically listening to your inner voice. So one of the relationships I loved in this film was the friendship between Woody and Forky. Forky listens to his inner voice.
Trash!
Yeah.
Trash!
He's totally connected, and Woody's always going back after him all the time. Don't be trash. You're a toy now. I want to be trash. So he's connected to his inner voice. He's happy. Woody's not happy because he's trying to serve that purpose of trying to be there for Bonnie. Right? He's not listening to his inner voice and what truly makes him happy. So there's a great message here about broadening your perspective, listening to your inner voice. And if you do that, right, the world can open up. There are other kids, there are other places, there are other experiences out there for us to enjoy, to be happy. And I think it's just wonderful. I think for kids, that's something they can learn, listening to themselves, listening to their inner voice. And I think it's a good reminder for adults.
What did you make of the technical aspects of this film?
Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. I love the technical aspects of this film. I mean, the animation, even going back and watching the first film recently, right, the animation back in 1995, I'm like, this actually still really holds up, in most cases. And obviously, it's gotten to a point now, fourth film in 2019, it's gotten really good.
So I guess we agree that Toy Story 4 it's well written, it's funny.
Yeah.
It has a great message. The voice acting is tremendous. The technical aspects, music, animation, all fantastic. I'm gonna press you though. Who's your MVP? Who is the most valuable player? Is there a moment that sticks out for you? Like, what is it about Toy Story 4? What is the best thing about it for you?
Oh, for me, like the characters. I love the characters, and I think that's what it comes down to. So if we're talking most valuable player when it comes to the cast, it's probably very hard to go past Tom Hanks. I mean, he is excellent. And what I find fascinating, I watched a recent interview with him on Graham Norton, and he talks about how Woody is wound tight. He's an action guy. He's always moving. Hey guys, we got to run over here. Oh, we got to go save this guy.
And then he runs like that.
And he runs like that. It's a crazy run. But he says, you can't do that. The mic is in front of you. The mic is right here, so you can't move. So the discipline behind that to bring the vocal energy, right, but not to be able to move your body, I think is incredible discipline. So I take my hat off to Tom Hanks in this film, but also to Tim Allen as well, who's also a bit of a character who is an action guy. He's a superhero.
Yeah.
He moves around a lot, you know.
My MVP would have to be MVPs. It'd be the writing team of particularly Andrew Stanton and Stephanie Folsom, to be able to balance and mix the tones in that writing, to find that hilarious dialogue.
Yep.
To find and I gotta say, to give people like Key and Peele the amount of room to move with their characters to find the humor in it.
Sure. They are funny.
They are hilarious.
They're funny. There's a lot of laugh out loud moments in this film, but yeah, to balance that, to balance the thought-provoking ideas, the serious themes that we discussed, and
still that absolute gut punch that they just tend to routinely deliver now.
Yeah, it's like 3's up here for the gut-wrenching sort of emotional moments, and like 4 would be it's just underneath. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it works. It works effortlessly, and it juggles it all wonderfully.
All right, now it's award time. Now, for this week, I'm thinking it's the Robin Williams Award for absolutely, completely, and utterly dominant voice acting performance. For me, my nomination goes to Tom Hanks, and I'm going to give it to him for the arc that he's delivered over a course of 4 movies. The fact that he imbues his character full of this just natural, just honesty. I always felt, despite Woody sometimes acting a bit maybe not the best person or the best character, I always believed in Woody.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of credit has to go to Tom Hanks. So for me, the Robin Williams Award for dominant acting performance goes to Tom Hanks. What about you?
Look, he's excellent, and it's like hard to argue that he's not. I think for me, Toy Story is a fantastic ensemble piece. That's how I've always seen these films. So it would be very hard pressed for me to try to pick one member out of the whole cast. So I'm going to go the whole cast.
Have you got splinters in your bum from sitting on the fence, or what's the deal there? Because
hey man, I'm not arguing with you. Hey Tom,
that's a change.
Tom's awesome. Tom's excellent. Tom is excellent, but so is everybody else.
You know what? I'll accept that. I'll take it. Final rating. What are you going to give Toy Story 4?
There's nothing much that I really didn't like in this film. I think it's a wonderful coda to a fantastic series. Look, if this is the last film, then that's a beautiful way to finish the series. If they're going to do more, then I'm up for more films to infinity and beyond.
How many stars?
4.5.
4.5.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to go. I really want them to finish now. Although I do have some faith that if they do go down this road again, they probably will deliver.
Yeah, I think so too.
I'm going to go with 4 stars.
Bonnie had a great day in class, and we're going on a road trip. Road trip?
Vacation!
But then something really weird happened. Bonnie made a friend in class.
Oh, she's already making friends.
No, she literally made a new friend. Hey, it's okay. Come on out, that's it. Come on, there you go. Come on, let's get you out of there. You got this. Good. Everyone, I want you to meet Forky.
Golly, Bob House. Look how long his arms are.
Guys, thanks so much for watching the episode. We're at the end of the episode now, sadly, but it has worked out really well for us that we're not still at the start of the episode. It means we got something done today. So we thank you so much for watching. We hope you dug what we did. If you did, hit that like and subscribe button.
And if you didn't like it, also hit the like button, because I've been told it does exactly the same thing on YouTube.
It does. So if you liked it, hit like. If you hit dislike and you still liked it, then that's fine too.
And hit subscribe to stay in focus.